Now, when we start, first of all, let's try to understand the word. What is this word domain? What is it about? Okay. So tell me, what do you understand by the word domain of a function?
In terms of a function, I think domain and range is basically domain and range.
Your voice goes off.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Huh.
I think domain and range are actually practically the same thing, except it's been used for different ways. For domain here in this case, it's basically all values, but all values for x.
All values of inputs or x, right? Of input or
x.
Or these inputs are nothing but x. And what is the range?
Range is all values of outputs or y.
All values of outputs or y value, right? Okay, all right. Now, there is one more condition along with this when I'm writing domain, okay? What is the condition? That you have to make sure that these input values of x, they have to be such that the function is defined for it. Function is defined. ऐसा ना हो that we are putting in the value and the function becomes undefined after that. Okay, what I mean to say is, let's do one question. Suppose there are some special types for this. There is f of x, which is equal to under root of x. F of x, which is equal to under root of x. Anything which is under root of x. Now, this is a special type. This is what where we have the under root type. Okay. Now, isme kya hoga? You can have any value for, now the under root of x means I can have any value for x.
But it should not be of a negative number.
Yes. So whenever you have under root of a negative, x can be anything. We've never learned what is under root of -1 or whatever, what is under root of -2. We don't know what are these values, right? Till now, we don't know, right? So for this, what will happen? The function will not be defined. So if you have any under root values, for this, what can I say? That the function will be defined if x is anything which is equal to or greater than 0. Okay, that is where it will be defined. So this is a type 1. Okay.
Or you could say x belongs to the real number.
X, if I say x belongs to real numbers, then
real numbers as in real whole numbers, not integers.
Anything which is greater. So x is an element of real numbers, but it has to be greater than 0. Greater than or equal to 0, correct? Now, for example, if I do some change here, some variation in this question, right? So if I do f of x and I say that this is under root of x minus 5, then what will you do?
Okay, should be that x is greater than or equal to greater than or equal to 5.
X is greater than or equal to 5 and x is an element of real number. Why 5 here?
Yeah.
Because what do you want? You want that this x minus 5 should be either greater than or equal to. So we'll first solve this with equal to sign is equal to 0 or more, right? So we will figure out that x minus 5 is equal to 0 square, which is nothing but 0, which is equal to x is equal to 5. 5 or greater than 5, we will never have a negative number. Usse kam ho jayega, then we will have a negative number. Clear? So then we are going to write this. Okay. So in general, the rule for any under root is that you should not have a negative number, right? In the under root. So that is your rule. So we will write that. Whenever you are defining, so these are some special types of functions जिसको हम जब define करते हैं. So what does it say? So function of x for an under root. Okay. Make sure that under root doesn't have a negative value. Otherwise, it will become undefined. Clear? That's your rule for
Yeah.
this. Okay. So in such case, your domain has to be, so in such a case, the domain will be is x greater than equal to 0. Otherwise, you will make the shifts, right? It has to be
Yeah.
greater than, otherwise you will make the shifts. And x is an element of R. So domain is, that's how you will define your domain here. Good. Okay. One more question for you.
Yeah.
F of x is equal to under root of four x plus 7.
Okay, so I need to like define the conditions, right? For this?
Yeah. How will you say, how is it defined?
Yeah, just give me a moment on that. Yeah. So will it be x is equal to 7 upon 4 in this case?
Is it 7 upon 4 or minus 7 upon 4?
Minus.
Is greater than equal to minus 7 upon 4 and x is an element of R, correct?
Yeah.
So whatever we are defining, all of these are domains, right? Because we're talking about the, yeah. Now we come to the second type. Okay. Second type, these are basically certain domains which are fixed for us. जिसको हमको देखते ही समझ जाना है. All right.
Yeah.
Second domain would be, second type would be, if you have fx is equal to, suppose 8 upon x. Okay. Now this case, when will it become undefined? When your x is equal to 0. The moment x is equal to 0, then it will become undefined. So agar aisa koi case aayega, then you will write that except for that 0, x can be anything.
Yeah.
Just that it cannot be a 0. So this is an under root function. This is an inverse reciprocal function. So for a reciprocal function, what do we understand? That the denominator cannot be 0.
Same case will be the numerator, right?
Yeah.
If this will be the same case with numerator, right? So where the numerator cannot be a 0, right?
The numerator can be a 0. That's not a problem. So a 0 answer aa jayega. That's okay. 0 answer is not a problem. But नीचे denominator 0 होने का मतलब होता है that it will be undefined. That should not happen. ठीक है?
Yeah.
Just a second. Now, so did you understand this kind of a function? This is a reciprocal function. So what do we write in such cases? What is the thing? Fx is undefined only when fx is 1 upon something. Fx is equal to 1 upon x. Make sure denominator is not 0. So what is your domain?
So you basically our domain is that x is
and x is an element of R. That's your domain for this case. अब जरा इसमें कुछ variations कर देती हूँ मैं. Okay, your variation is I give you fx is equal to 8 upon x minus 5. ये कब 0 होगा इसका denominator? Denominator cannot be 0.
Then x is equal to 5.
So when x is equal to 5, so what will you write? Domain में x cannot be 5 and x is anything except 5.
Yeah.
Right? Another variation. fx is equal to 8 upon under root of x minus 5. Now what will you do? अब ये क्या हो गया?
It will be the same, I guess. It cannot be 5 then, because if you try to take,
It will be, what will happen here? Now think and
x
tell.
cannot be 5.
X cannot be, okay.
5.
I've also put an under root.
But x cannot be 5 and 0.
Yeah, so what, two conditions. Under root of x minus 5, two conditions, right? What did we learn? It has to be greater than 0, greater than equal to 0, right? पहले तो first thing. And क्यों? क्योंकि under root negative नहीं हो सकता. Right? So पहले इसका condition, there are two cases now here. Two cases I've combined, the 1 and 2, right? दो बातें, what did we learn here? We learned that it cannot be a negative number. So पहले हमने उसको solve किया. तो x is greater than equal to 5 आ गया. एक ये condition आया. So anything which is greater than equal to 5. और दूसरा condition क्या है? Under root of x 5 cannot be 0. Right? Cannot be 0. That's what we learned नीचे denominator के, right? So which means x cannot be equal to 5. So now what are the two conditions? If you combine these two, that means what I get is x can only be greater than 5. You will not put that equal to sign here. Right? So you're solving in two parts. One is part 1, which is for under root, and another is part 2, which is for the denominator. Is it understood, Aditi? You understand how to combine now these two?
Yeah, so basically what we do is, in part 1, we have written that under root of x minus 5 will be greater than or equal to 0. In part 2, we have basic the square root for x minus 5, which cannot be 0. So we will then and since x has to be greater,
Your voice is gone.
x has to be greater than equal to 5. So we will not put an equal to sign. So just we'll write that x is greater than 5.
Perfect. So understood now? कैसे करना है इस पर? Why we are solving it in two parts? Because there are two conditions here. What are the two conditions? Part 1 and part 2, which says that one, there is a reciprocal function also here, and there is a under root function also here. So this is an important question for you. I hope you have understood this well now.
Yeah.
This is important, where we combine both of them. Okay? Now we move to certain graphical kind of questions. Okay? Now in our graph kind of questions, what will happen? Okay. Now this is primarily the quadratic type of questions.
Yeah.
I am going to take one equation, and with one equation, I'm going to make certain variations. Okay? So let's say the question says you're supposed to find the domain and range of the function. Okay. Yeah. So now primarily I'm going to look at the range part. All right. Range, it is what? It is the y value.
All
right?
values of y.
Right. So your question 1 is fx is equal to 2x minus 3 whole square plus 5. Okay, that's your question. If I want to plot this graph with the information which is already available to me here, how will I plot this?
So I think first
your voice is gone. I think you need to be closer to the mic. Bring your laptop closer to you.
Yeah. So now can you hear me?
Yeah.
So I think firstly we already, since this is already in completed in square form, so we already have the vertex point, which is 3, 5. So there is that. So then we will just add the input the value for 3, 5 is the vertex point. So we can just add for if x is equal to 0. So we can put x is equal to 0 first.
Okay. Okay, so this is the turning point. And what is the value for fx, the y-intercept?
So
And you said x is equal
so
to 0.
X is equal to 0, y will be equal to 23.
So y is 23. So y is equal to 23. So I'm just going to plot that. Something like this, something like this. And it's a happy face, right? Y is equal to 23. And this point is the turning point. And this is the value for here, 3. And this is the value here, which is 5. This is 3, 5. Am I right in saying this? Okay.
Yes.
Now, it says, it's asking us, find the domain and range. Okay. So, is there any, what domain do you see for this question? Domain and range. What domain do you see for this question? X, is there any limitation on X? Any limitation? It's a quadratic function. There is no limitation. X can be anything. Positive, negative, 0, kuch bhi ho sakta hai. So as this curve is growing, look at me. As this curve is growing like this and this and this, it is going to become bigger and bigger. It will cover all values of X. So what is the domain for this? For this question, X is an element of R without any condition. Yeah. Everything here. So that is your domain. And what's your range? The range is, now look at this. You have to always look at the minimum value. So if we have the graph, what is the minimum value of Y? Minimum value is, isn't it the 5 here that you're getting this 5? That isn't that the minimum value? इसके ऊपर तो ग्राफ ऊपर ही जा रहा है, यहाँ से तो ग्राफ ऊपर ही जा रहा है, right? As it is going to go up, तो ग्राफ की वैल्यू क्या हो रही है? मिनिमम वैल्यू से ऊपर ही होगी, right? Right? So what can I say? What is my what is my range? Can I say that my range is f of x is greater than equal to 5? Can I say that?
Yeah, because as the graph is getting bigger, so it will. So meaning if this is getting bigger, so the range will also eventually increase on basically sides.
Now going forward, whenever you're doing such questions, this domain will be given as a part of your question. Okay, and they will be asking you the range. Okay, so now what I am going to do is I'm going to change these. I'm going to vary this. Now you see how this is going to make the questions different. Same question, but now the next part. Okay, same question, but all I'm going to do is just keep changing the domain. So you will see how your answer changes. Even though the graph is the same, the answer is going to vary now. Now the domain is, now, as I said, these questions will be given in this domain will be mentioned in the question only. So in this, it's written x is greater than 0. When I'm saying x is greater than 0, see the graph is still the same. Will the domain remain the same? Will the range remain the same because the domain has changed? Right?
Because since x is greater than 0.
Right.
So the range would change.
The range is going to change. So which means what am I talking about right now? If you look at the question,
you're on mute.
This is how my x values would change, right? As x values बढ़ते जाएंगे, right? Yeah. Now, what is it asking us? Beyond this point, the x value is going to be a negative value beyond this point, which means I'm only talking about यहाँ से यहाँ तक x की values. I can't go here. These are not to be considered. These are not to be considered. So what is the value of, how will you write this? What will you write this? In this case also, if you see the y value, how does it change the y value? कुछ change आ रहा है y value में वैसे? Look at the graph and tell me. Range.
I mean the y value is at first is dipping and then it is increasing.
But see earlier for every question we would have got 2 y values, है ना? but हमें दूसरा y value नहीं मिला, but there is still one y value which we are still getting.
Yeah.
Right? अभी आते हैं. So how will I define my range here? My range still remains the same. There is no change. And what is the fx value? Fx is, what was the earlier one?
It
Greater
was
than equal to
6.
5.
Yeah.
Greater than equal to 5. And here also it will remain greater than equal to 5. You understood why it is remaining as greater than equal to 5?
Because the domain is practically the same here in this case.
The domain is x greater than 0, but the negative portions we are not taking. But जो बाकी के वो same values positive portions में आ रहे हैं. So we can't skip them. We can't say that they understood the point.
Yeah. So what has happened is that even if the domain, if domain is x is greater than 0, we can't consider the negative portion because that does not satisfy the condition. So
Correct. So what I'm just highlighting, this is the portion that you have taken at this time. But in this portion also, what is already there, the range, the minimum value is still 5. The minimum value is still 5, and the rest of the values are greater than 5 for y. Clear हुआ?
Yeah.
One more variation. Okay. Now in this question, the question is fx is equal to 2x minus, same question, no change. Only thing that I'm changing is greater than, x is greater than equal to 1. ठीक है?
Yeah.
Greater than equal to 1. Now for that, थोड़ा सा calculation करके बताओ मुझे and tell me कि 1 पे क्या value आती है. When x is equal to 1, so what is that value at which you get? What is the fx value for x equals to 1? So that little calculation you want, I want you to 13. Okay. So when x is equal to 1, fx you get is equal to 13. That you just calculated, right? अब जरा check करते हैं, यानी कि the value is starting only from 13. So I need to mark that 13 somewhere here. 13 यहाँ पर है, ये रहा. So now, what is the value at which we are starting now for this one? Aren't we starting at 13 and rest of this?
Yeah.
है ना? Right?
Yeah.
Any change in the domain, in the range?
Actually, no.
Actually, no, there's still no change. Till now, we haven't seen any change, right? Okay, so I'm going to highlight this. But you understand how this whole thing is working now?
Yeah.
Right? Okay, so abhi humne yahi wala portion liya hai. So still now, we haven't seen any change in our range, which is x, this. Correct?
Yeah.
Correct? Okay. Now, another variation. You understand that even though it is the same question we have taken for the entire thing,
there are different variations.
but how they are varying and how we can go wrong if we are not checking them graphically.
Yeah.
Correct? So some questions they ask about the domain also. Some questions they ask about the range also. हमको ध्यान से ग्राफ को समझते हुए फिर आंसर करना है. सिर्फ इक्वेशन देख के कभी आंसर नहीं करना है. Okay? Next question is now अब ध्यान देना यहां से. Your last one was x greater than equal to 1, na? Haan. And this one, this is our fourth variation. यहाँ से देखना अब changes आना start होंगे. Now, instead of taking greater than, I'm taking less than 1 now. Less than 1. अब less than 1 में क्या हो जाएगा? So again, what are we going to do? लेस देन 1 है तो एक बार 1 पे कैलकुलेशन करना पड़ेगा हमने, जो हमने पहले किया हुआ है. व्हेन x इज इक्वल टू 1 तो हमने कैलकुलेशन किया था. व्हेन x इज इक्वल टू 1 fx इज इक्वल टू 13. दिस कैलकुलेशन वी हैड डन. सो वो हमें यहाँ पे पहले एक बार मार्क कर देना है, दिस इज 13. अब बताओ ये 13 कब आ रहा है? व्हेन x इज इक्वल टू 1. करेक्ट, दिस वैल्यू यहाँ.
So meaning we would be excluding the positive portion here. So
Exactly. So I'm going to highlight that portion now for you, and you tell me which value are we talking about. Are we talking about this?
we're talking about this value.
Right? We're talking about this now. So let's highlight that first. We are talking about this one now, right? So how is my, now from this question onwards, our range is going to change. Can you tell me what is the range now?
So fx would be, wait, fx will be then less than 13, I guess, because since 5.
Is it fx which is less than 10, 13? या आप सोच रहे हो fx और आंसर कर रहे हो x लेस है वो?
नहीं. See, fx will be greater than 13.
fx will be greater than 13. Did you get it? समझ आया ना?
Yeah.
Do I include the value 13 or not? Do I put an equal to sign or not?
No, because 13 is basically coming on 1, and we're not taking equal to sign exactly for 1.
In the domain, right? So we will not take the equal to sign in this case, right? Because 13.
Yeah.
Clear? This is also clear. Excellent. Okay. Next, I'm going to take the same thing. One second. Okay. Now, greater than equal to 5. Tell me the portion that I need to highlight. Tell me the value of fx.
It's greater than equal to 5. So basically beyond basically 5 included is basically this side curve.
Beyond 5, which means, are you talking about this when x is beyond 5? Ye wala value?
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Okay, then is it beyond 5? No. Is it, so 5 matlab I need to put another marking here.
Yeah,
5,
it's including 5.
So 5 is here. Okay. So which means you're saying I have to include this portion. Ye wala portion, right?
Yeah.
This, correct? Okay. So यहाँ पर हमें थोड़ी सी calculation करनी पड़ेगी क्या? That when x is equal to 5, then fx की value क्या होती है?
Yeah. 13.
13. Okay, fx is 13. So what should be the range?
Okay, so if it is f is equal to 5, fx is 14. Then fx should be greater than or equal to 13.
Greater than or equal to 13. Absolutely correct answer. Greater than or equal to 13. And I'm going to highlight that portion. It is the portion here. ठीक है ना?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. Now there are 3 more variations now. ठीक है?
Yeah.
अब आपने greater than कर लिया. अब
Yeah.
हम एक और variation करते हैं. Just give me one.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Now I want you to do it on a graph sheet and you have to tell me what will happen if I take these. ठीक है, मैं तीनों questions आपको दे रही हूँ, तीनों question number 6, question number 7 and question number 8. ठीक है? Your question is, now you are going to do this. You are going to do this. ये वाला यहाँ पर अब आपका domain जो है वो 4. अच्छा, 4 is not included. 4 this, that's your domain. 1 to 4 and तीसरे वाले के लिए है x is less than 0. ठीक है?
This is for
domains है, you have to tell me. इन तीनों का range बना करके draw करके मुझे दिखाना है आपको. ठीक है?
yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Your video is off. ये
Yeah,
draw
yeah.
करके फिर मुझे दिखाना ना. Switch on the camera.
Yeah. Yeah. Give me a moment. I just. Now this is to the same for the question 678. It will be to the same equation, right? Fx is equal to x.
Same. Yeah.
Okay.
Same.